It's time to ask the expert.
Yeah.
Get your questions answered today by a knowledgeable expert by calling 615-737-9292.
Hello?
Brought to you by Bancorp South. Visit us online at bancorpsouth.com. Equal housing lender.
All right, guys, we are in the Zoom room today. All right. And we have our very, very fine expert here in the Zoom room with us. Sissy Brown, tell them who we got.
He's the area lending manager for most of Tennessee, Nashville included. He's also a mortgage community development lender. Ron McCall with Bancorp South is in the Zoom room.
Hey guys, good morning. Good morning. Man, I love to hear that opening. Good morning to everybody.
Thank you
Hope
for
you guys having a great day.
Hi, Rod is in the building because he got the hot deals and hot knowledge. We're talking today about credit, why it's important when buying a home, and just getting an overall consensus, from you guys about home ownership. And so, Rod, we're going to get into some questions with you right now about different things about home ownership. First of all, where can I get my credit score for free?
Yeah, that's a great point, and that's one we hear a lot. And I recommend that for anybody. It's like buying a car. You want to check out the car. Same thing with your financial health. You want to check that out on an annual basis as well. And one of the places you can go to get that is the annualcreditreport.com. So annualcreditreport.com is a way to get a free copy of your credit report, so you can really kind of see how you have been performing in terms of managing your credit. And what I tell people, guess what? You can check your own personal credit as many times as you want, because when you check your credit yourself, guess what? It does not affect your credit score. So unlike a lender sometimes who can pull it and it looks like you're opening multiple accounts, when you pull it, you're not a lender. So, hey, go at it. And it's a good way to stay in touch and make sure that you're doing all the things you need to do to maintain good credit.
You know what? I always thought that it was checking it at all that was going to jack up your credit, because that's what I was told, that if you keep checking it, it's going to mess up your credit score. But if you're doing it, I'm not selling nothing, so I'm good.
Yeah, but see, that's something you used to hear a lot, and unfortunately, that was miscommunication. Again, when you're not a lender yourself and you're pulling your credit for information purposes only, then the system does not penalize you for reviewing your own credit report. So I recommend you can look at your credit report on a monthly basis to see how you're performing in terms of paying down credit card debts or installment debts, or if there's any erroneous information that's on your credit. You will be amazed sometime at the stuff that erroneously is reported on your credit report, and that's the reason why you want to do a checkup either monthly or semi-yearly or yearly, just to see where you are with your credit and that there's no errors on there. Because if there's errors, you definitely want to start the process of getting those things removed.
All right. We got a question, and then we're going to go to Sissy's question. What we got, Dub?
Hello. I'm in my mid-20s, and I found a house that I'm really interested in to buy. Do I need a realtor or a real estate agent, or where do I start to begin buying a house?
Man, she in her mid-20s. You better go, girl.
Good question, and it's a question I hear a lot, and congratulations for just starting the process of home ownership. I will tell you guys that, it's been predicted that there's probably going to be over 8 million first-time home buyers getting into the market in the next 2 years. So I'm glad to hear that you're moving forward. But when it comes to a realtor, it's like going to the doctor. We can look at ourselves and say, hey, you know what? I don't feel well, and try to diagnose ourselves. But are we an expert when it comes to that? So what I tell folks is that because the transaction is a legally binding contract, you want an expert, someone who is licensed in that arena, to guide you through the process. So I do highly recommend a realtor who can help you navigate the terminology, the contract, and all the things that you are negotiating when it comes to purchasing a home. Can you imagine that if you enter into a contract, and because you was not advised and you went at it yourself, all of a sudden you enter into a contract and realize there's no way to get out of a situation where your house, once you had it inspected, you realize, you know what, this house is in poor condition, I don't want to move forward. But because of some of the things you wasn't realizing, you ended up following through on a process you normally wouldn't follow through on if you had a realtor representing you.
Buying a house, repairs and stuff, dude. Oh my goodness. That would be a nightmare.
Absolutely. You'll be amazed in 31 years in this industry, some of the nightmares I have heard when it comes to those entering into contract without representation. Again, the market is very competitive right now. And what happens when you have a realtor, guess what? That buyer sees you as a more credible person when it comes to when your contract is offered. Again, it's not unreasonable to have about 10, 12 people making offers on one house. So you definitely want a professional who's in the arena, who knows the market, and can help you be the most aggressive you can be when it comes to making an offer. So again, you can go on it your own, but as I stated earlier, like a doctor, you want an expert, someone who knows the legal things that can help you get that particular house that you're looking for.
Nice.
And I recommend a realtor for that reason.
Sissy.
So what is actually a bad credit score when it comes to getting a house? And the bad credit score, how can you turn it into a reasonable credit score to get to a point to where a lender will consider you for a home?
Bad credit score.
Man, I hear that a lot, but so let me tell you how I look at that. First of all, you have to understand when it comes to home ownership that credit is just one part of it. It's more than just your credit score that allows your loan to be approved for a home. Again, credit is just one part of it. But what I try to tell folks is that there are programs that are very flexible on credit when it comes to your credit. Keep in mind your credit score can range anywhere from 350 up to 850, but there are programs where at 580 and above you can apply for a loan. But it doesn't mean at 580 and above your loan will automatically be approved, because again, credit is just one part of it. So what I tell folks, let's focus on those disciplines that allows your credit score to continue to improve. And the way you do that, you have to understand how credit works. For example, when it comes to what makes up your credit score, do you know that 35% of what makes up your credit score is your payment history? Are you paying on time, or are there late payments? And again, that's important. 30% is the amount you owe on your credit. For example, let's say you have a credit card, they approve you for $1,000, but you maxed out to $1,000. That means it looks like you're overextended, and guess what? That affects your credit in a negative way. 10% is new credit. Are you opening up a lot of accounts at one time? 15% of it is the length of credit history. How long have you had those credit cards? How long have you had those installment loans? Is there enough history of you performing on time? And then, of course, 10% of it is credit mix. Are there any installment accounts, revolving accounts? But once you know that, then guess what? It helps you in performing and making sure that you maintain a good credit. So I don't focus on just, hey, what credit score I need, because again, credit is just one part of what makes up the loan being approved. Let's focus on those things that allow your credit score to go up, and then start by understanding what your credit score is made up of.
All right, Dub, let's get another question, man. People want to get in on this knowledge.
I wanted to know, what is the best credit score to have that would qualify you to be able to purchase a home? Thank you.
Best credit score.
Yeah, once again, like I said earlier, credit is just one part of it. They're a flexible program. Do you know that you don't have to have a credit score and can actually still qualify for a home?
I did not.
There are some programs. And let me say that again. You don't have to have a credit score, but can still qualify for a home. Because there's such things called non-traditional credit, where we can take a history of your utility bills over the last 12 months, or your rental, if you're renting, or maybe you pay car insurance, or you pay your cell phone. We can get the history of that and use that to determine if you're credit worthy and move forward, and you can become a homeowner. So that's one way.
So
the second thing, as I stated earlier, is that with credit just being one part of it, there's a program that says that at 580 and actually and above, you can make application. So again, it's not so much of the credit score, it's the overall profile. But yes, we can help you with that and walk you through the process of how to maintain credit by giving you some ideas and suggestions that we've seen in our history of things other people have done to improve their credit. But there's a possibility that you may qualify when you don't. And that's why I started by getting pre-qualified for your new home.
All right, Dub, let me get another question, man.
As a person is preparing to buy their first home, do you recommend that they have a certain credit score or their credit be at a certain level before they start the task of buying a home or purchasing their first home or property?
So before they even get started, and by the way, guys, we're on the line right now and in the Zoom room with Mr. Rod McCall, who's helping us navigate this whole thing with our friends with Bancorp South. So how should you even start approaching this?
Yeah, that's a great point. So here's where you start with. You start with just a conversation with a lender, because again, there's so many different products, and the products are so flexible in terms of qualifying that even if you think your credit is not where it should be, because your credit is just one part of it, guess what? You may actually qualify. As I tell folks, someone with a 620 tried to qualify for a home and was able to qualify. Someone else with a 620 was not. The difference could have been that one person had more assets, that once the loan closed, they had money to fall back on. What we call in old days a rainy day fund. Mm-hmm. So guess what? Because there's so many factors that goes into it, that's why you want to get pre-qualified. Pre-qualified is a review of your income, your monthly debt, your credit, what do you pay on a monthly basis, as well as what funds you have to close. Once the lender has that information, it can be reviewed and we can determine if you're able to qualify right now. So I tell people all the time, if you're on the fence because you're thinking your credit may not be where it should be, still reach out to a lender, find out what programs are available, and guess what? You may qualify. I said on a call yesterday that there's down payment assistance money available up to $10,000. Do you know that in a lot of cases, if you're able to qualify for that grant, that money can be used for a larger down payment and offset maybe the fact that your credit is not as perfect as you want it to be? That still may allow you to qualify because there's other things that goes into it. And one of those things could be grant money that makes it appear you have a larger down payment and you qualify for a home. So it starts with a conversation with a lender, and you just may qualify for a home right now.
So what about if you went through like a bankruptcy or something like that? Does that mean you can never buy a home? You went through a whole bankruptcy.
Man, I get that a lot, especially because no one life is perfect. And I always tell people that. And the guidelines are structured so that even if you don't live the perfect life in terms of always being healthy, always having asset funds in the bank, and always being employed, most people don't live that life because we all have ups and downs. But the guidelines are written that if you have a bankruptcy, it is not a automatically no for you. There's flexibility in the credit requirement that you can qualify for a home after bankruptcy. Historically, most flexible programs are your government programs like FHA and VA, where 2 years after being discharged from a Chapter 7, you're able to apply for a mortgage loan. And even in certain situations that are what we call extenuating circumstances, those are things that are outside of your control, you may be able to qualify for even less than 2 years. So again, that's why I start by being pre-qualified. With Chapter 13, if you're in Chapter 13 for at least a year and with on-time payments, and after going through the process of getting pre-qualified, you may qualify as well. So to answer your question, even after bankruptcy, you may be able to qualify for a home, as well as after foreclosure. Believe it or not, you still may be able to qualify for a home as well. So it's not a definite no, and that's why you start the process of getting pre-qualified. And you'll hear me say that word often, pre-qualification, because again, it's a review of your finances, along with giving you a letter saying you're pre-approved, and a loan estimate that shows you how your loan is going to be structured. So there's no guessing at it. You know exactly what the obligations are once you finish the pre-qualification, pre-approval process.
All right, guys, we're going to get one more call with Mr. Rod McCall here on the line right now with Bancorp South. What we got, Dub?
My husband and I just got an offer accepted on a new home. We're 2 weeks into it, and now the sellers are trying to back out of it, and I'm trying to find out, do I have any type of legal right, or are they able to back out where we're not able to get the home?
Remember I said earlier, see, it's important to have representation when it comes to purchasing a home.
So you need a realtor. You need a realtor.
Yeah. You want a realtor because, again, there's so much from a technical point of view that's in that contract that if you're not skilled at reviewing a contract on a consistent basis, or if you have not been licensed, which means that, and keep in mind, realtors not only are they licensed, but they also have to go through continuous education. So as rules and guidelines change, they must be updated on that as well. So that's why it's so important that you get with a realtor, because, again, situations like she just stated in that question, you want that realtor to walk you through, hey, why did they decide that they did not want to move forward in the contract? What clause in that contract allows them to walk away? Or are there penalties if they're walking away? Or do I need to look up at other legal avenues? Because, again, when you enter into a contract, it is a legal binding contract with rules and regulations that dictate how they can stay in the contract and how they get out of the contract. And that's where a realtor can really benefit you, because, as I said earlier, not only do they have to be licensed, but they also have to continue with that continuing education to stay abreast of what the new rules and regulations are. And that person can help you in a situation like that.
All right, guys, been in the Zoom room with Mr. Rod McCall, talking about getting your home ownership together, getting your credit together. Hopefully, man, you got some information and some knowledge out of that. And Rod, go ahead and give them your information, because I know they want to holler at you and see if they can get this home.
Absolutely. Once again, in order to reach me, and I always like you guys to reach me directly, you can reach me by cell at 205-835-3966. Again, the number is 205-835-3966. If you just want to email me, you can email me at Rod, ROD.McCall, MCCALL, at bxs.com. That's B as in boy, X as in X-ray, S as in Sam.com. And once again, if you want additional information, you can also log on to bankcorpsouth.com, get a host of other information, as well as find me there as well, my contact information there also.
All right, guys. Our sponsor, Bancorp South, our guy, Hot Rod McCall, get you this information.
Hey, guys, thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you guys.
I enjoyed it, guys. I look forward to the next one. And let's keep uplifting and sharing information.